Good evening, and welcome to Life Coach TV. This evening, as my guest, I have Paul McGinnis. I'm Bonnie Gerwitz, and I'm standing in for Dr. Mariana Lead, who is on an assignment at New York University. First, I'd like to welcome Paul.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here tonight.
It's great to have you here. We usually like to start our show by asking our coaches what their definition of coaching is. I find there's a lot of similarity, but people word things just a little bit differently, and so it's interesting, I think, for people to hear.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bonnie, I have a pretty simple definition for coaching, and it's simply helping people move from point A to point B more quickly, more efficiently, more powerfully. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much my definition.
Okay. There's a little work involved in getting from A to B. I don't want you to think it's just like that. It does take a little time. It's right. The definition is simple, but it's not that quite as simple as it sounds. Paul is a business and workplace coach. And so he does obviously a lot of coaching for, what size companies do you do coaching for?
Right now I'm on an assignment with a company. It's actually kind of ironic because they're a relatively small company. Most companies, the bigger companies, Fortune 500, will have coaching programs in place. This is a small company, about 40 to 50 employees, that's decided to bring coaching in for their high potential employees or general population because they believe in the power of coaching and how it helps people in the workplace. So,
wow.
Very interesting project, yeah.
That's great. It's great, and I think it would be nice if a lot more companies had coaches who offered coaching in the workplace. I think it's a great opportunity for companies to be more productive, to have better lines of communication. So that's great.
I think it's a great retention tool also. A lot of companies have trouble holding on to good employees, and sometimes coaching is used as an intervention more than as a resource or a value-added tool, so I agree.
But it sounds like in this case it's a value-added tool.
Exactly.
So it's not like, a lot of times we hear, as we did I think last Monday, we heard about situations where someone has been with the company, they are a valuable employee, could be someone who's extremely bright, someone who really knows their job well, but for one reason or another they've slacked off or their production is not as high as it could be. And so it's more of an intervention than what you're saying, where the owners of the company are offering coaching to their employees. So it's not an intervention, and they're not trying to fix anybody.
No.
They're just offering a wonderful opportunity to people to better themselves and to reach goals faster.
Exactly.
So that's great. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, very progressive.
Paul has unique training. A little bit different than a lot of the training that coaches come to when they are deciding to become a coach. There are a lot of coaching schools all over the country, more than you would imagine unless you've Googled and gone in to look for a coaching school. Paul has unique training, and I'd like for the people that are watching to hear about the training.
Sure.
And I love the way it's, I don't know, it's just very different. I'll let him explain it.
Well, when I looked into coaching formally, professionally, and getting certified, I found the ICF, obviously, the International Coach Federation, and there are lots of different accredited schools, as Bonnie mentioned. And timing is a lot of it. Classes are offered by different companies, and I ended up with Results Coaching Systems, and it really worked well for me. I'd done some work with Nancy Klein, who's over in England. She wrote a book called Time to Think, and it's all about creating spaces to think deeply and differently. And the Results Coaching Systems model is all about, it's founded upon the latest findings in neuroscience and brain research. And it's fascinating material to get into, especially from a coaching perspective, because it's all about how to use how the brain works to help your clients move forward in their lives and move towards their goals. And so there's different recent findings that we use and we think of when we're in a situation with a client to best map to how the client's thinking and to help them think and to not try to do the thinking for them. So there's a lot of different pieces to it. one of the things is that everybody's brain is different, and so Bonnie and I were talking before that we have different experiences, we've grown up differently, we could have been at the same intersection when an accident happened, but because of where we're standing and maybe how many other accidents we've seen, we're going to process and take that in differently. And so when we're dealing with people's goals and their dreams and moving beyond maybe someplace somebody's stuck, I might come up with different solutions than Bonnie would, and they might make perfect sense to me and my brain, but because her brain is different, if I try to force those ideas and those suggestions on her, it can create a lot of trouble for her and for the coaching situation. It's another piece of the model is we often say try not to coach people that you know too well because you don't have enough distance or objectivity.
That's right.
That you're too involved in their stuff and you're putting all your ideas on them. So the less you know of somebody, the more distance there is, the easier it is not to do the thinking for them and get caught up in that.
And also, one of the very, very important aspects of coaching is that it's never the coach's agenda. You're not working on your agenda. You're working on your client's agenda. You're working on what they want to achieve, not what you want them to achieve, which is another reason why it's also better that it's not a friend that you're coaching.
Right.
Because you do have too much information and there is an emotional piece
Very much.
with a friend.
You have your own agenda very often that you want them to be happy or to achieve something on your schedule, on your pace, according to your ideas and plans.
Right.